Hi everyone, I'm here to talk to you about love, smartphones and dhokha, which is what I decided to call this talk. And with the help of these emojis, I'll be talking to you a little bit about my research, which is about dating relationships among college students in Goa. So the past year, with the help of the International Center of Goa, I've been talking to young people aged 18 to 24 across colleges in Goa. I've also spoken to teachers and counselors to understand what is happening in dating relationships, specifically related to violence. How do young people meet each other? It seems they meet each other on Facebook. Mostly, they become friends. They start chatting, and that friendship blossoms into a relationship. Sometimes they just see each other, and that happens. That ashik emoji happens, and they follow each other around till the other person notices them, and they strike up a conversation, and pyar ho gaya. By the time young people reach college, they've actually already been in a couple of relationships, is what we found. People have had up to 7 partners when, by the time they're in college, and they've been in long-term relationships for 2-3 years. What they expect from their partner is someone who's supportive, someone who's got their back, someone who kind of stands with them as they go through the challenges of life in school and life at home, someone who takes care of them. It's not easy. They fight with each other. There's a lot of conflict. Like young people are arguing about all kinds of things with each other, but they're also really scared that their partner will leave them, a fight will escalate, and they will find themselves all alone. So they use a variety of what we would call healthy and unhealthy mechanisms to sort things out and keep the peace. The bad news is what I'm going to talk about mostly. The bad news is that physical violence, although it's not super common, it does happen. And what happens is that because physical violence becomes an outburst, it's like I was feeling angry, I couldn't control my emotions. It's something that young people accept very often, that he was just angry, he's not a bad guy, right? And I'm saying he, because typically it tends to be guys, but this kind of violence can happen both sides. Sexual violence, again, not very common, but it's things like if you don't kiss me, it means that you don't love me, and young people feel pressure to, to comply. Sometimes, if they take pictures with each other that are used to blackmail, and young people feel very uncomfortable talking to other people about that. Another thing, and this is the big one, is emotional violence. There's a lot of the kind of interaction that's happening between partners where they're trying to control each other, where they doubt each other, where they suspect that the other person is not being true to them, and how they respond to that is by exerting a lot of control and restrictions on their partner. So don't talk to this one, don't go out with that one, and an amazing way that it acts out is not so much in person, but really it's online. So young people are monitoring their partner's online activity all the time. So who were you talking to at 2 a.m. that your phone was busy? Why did you like that one's pictures? Who is that guy? Who is that guy you put up a selfie with? These are some of the questions that partners are asking each other and feeling compelled to answer. And how they buy trust, how they trade trust is by sharing passwords. So this was something a lot of couples do, is that I have nothing to hide, and so I will give you my password. And the thing is, when something like this happens, when your partner places this kind of expectation on you, you comply because you really don't know what to do. A lot of young people, when they face some of these invisible forms of violence, don't know what to do, don't know who to speak to. They tend to isolate, they try to handle things by themselves. They listen to music, they go on long meandering walks, but what they don't do is talk to someone. They don't confide in anyone. And I'm going to be throwing some blame around here. Part of the reason is the negative communication that comes from families, particularly parents, saying don't date anyone, this is not the right age, or date someone who's in your caste, in your religion, things like that. Love doesn't work that way, right? And teachers will say things like, this is puppy love, you don't really know what love is, is, this is the time to focus on studies, do you really know what you're doing? And what this does is creates an atmosphere where people that young people should trust, should look up to, become sources of negative information, and young people feel extremely uncomfortable trusting these sources of reliable and helpful information. And what young people really need, what they miss is a confidential space. They feel that teachers gossip, or worse, teachers will call the parents, and then that will bring one, clamp down on you. And what happens is that there is absolutely no one that they have to speak to. What's the first thing we can do? Let's get rid of the birds and the bees. Young people are dating, they are having sex. Let us all parents accept that, because what happens when you don't accept that is that they do it in secret, and when something goes wrong, they don't tell you about it. They turn to the internet for solutions, and the internet does not have all the right answers. What we need to do is create a space where young people feel safe to say, look, I know that you wouldn't like it, but this happened, I did this, I need help, right? They need to feel comfortable, they need to be able to trust you, to find that you will be non-judgmental, you will be open, and give them a safe space to tell you what really happened, and so that they can get the help that they need. And I really believe in the power of peers. I believe that young people trust people who are like them, who have possibly gone through things like them. And I'm not just saying that because I believe it, but it's something that young people also say, that if there was someone who understood them, they would feel much more comfortable talking to them and opening up. And so the road ahead, it's a big mountain to climb. Like Ravi mentioned in my introduction, I am looking at going back into colleges and possibly, hopefully, schools, because young people are dating very early on, and talking to them about some of these things and building an atmosphere which is safe, non-judgmental, where they can be themselves and date.